Crypto market analytics, we're back and we have the Ripple under the microscope. This time, guys, I have a very interesting story to tell you about the technical situation of the Ripple. And so pay close attention, right? Now, the Ripple was incredibly boring. It was lifeless pretty much ever since the middle of 2018. I mean, forget about the fact that price was crashing down, right? This is a nosedive that we've seen pretty much from the beginning of 2018, but it was still moving. It still had life in it, right? And even in the beginning of 2018, it was slowing down that downside move, but it was still on the move. Somewhere around the middle of 2018, price began to trade sideways in a very obnoxious way, right? I mean, forget about the fact that it was trading sideways. It did that in a growing, narrowing situation, right? So it kind of got narrower and narrower with its, amplitude. At some point, it seemed completely dead. Take a look at this price action here all over, and we're talking about quite a significant period of time, from roughly, I would say, December 2018 all the way to, well, March, April 2018. Price was just, this is lifeless, right? Anyway, something quite interesting also happened here during that time period. We've seen that trading range starting to develop. I mean, I was suspecting that this trading range could be the main theme for the Ripple ever since the beginning of 2018, because we've seen the first upside move followed by a second leg, which kind of went to the very edge of that setup, right? But paid a lot of respect to that bottom support, 28.77, and then turned around. Now, I have to admit, when it turned around, I was expecting to see the third leg reaching the upper section as part of a sideways movement. Having said that, I was quite surprised to see that it didn't happen. It actually, price missed that upper section, and instead it followed the rest of the market, back at that time, and completely turned around and basically got back into the lower section. And here it kind of started to develop a life of its own, right? It started to trade inside that lower section, using that mid-low key level 54.19 as the resistance, and the bottom 28.77 as, the support. But it was more than just support, right? It was a solid stone floor. I have so much respect to this bottom support here, 28.77, because price can just proved us time and time again what a powerful support, how strong of an upside pressure is coming from that area. So I think it's safe to say that at this point, I don't think the Ripple is going to break down that 28.77. I think it's safe to say that this bottom support level had prevailed. It won, right? And now we see price begin to move away to the opposite direction. It probably gave up after so many attempts to break through. So if that's the case, then we should expect price to move all the way back to the higher section finally, in a fashionably, probably 10 months late. It should reach the higher section and finally, like I said, produce the third leg. Up until now, we only had two legs. It's very bizarre type of price action behavior, but every day you see something new. The bottom line is that price is still confirming to that setup, right? It's still confirming to the setup, still confirming to that bottom support 28.77, as we've seen time and time again. So at this point, I've decided to jump on board. I've established a bullish position, recently, just fresh actually, bullish position on the Ripple, and I intend to keep following up on this one till we reach our destination, higher section here. Here is our primary price target, guys, 82.63. So that represents about 100% of potential move. Interesting stuff. Ripple will definitely come back to revisit the technical situation here, guys. That's about that for today. Have a nice trading day, and we'll see you next Monday.